There's news, there's sense, and there's no nuisance this week. There's only sense. Sorry guys, we haven't been able to shoot a TV nuisance episode this week because it's the Media Rumble week and we've been really busy with that. But we have a really nice, if I may say so myself, we have a really nice deep dive interview with Sudha Bharadwaj for you guys to watch this weekend. Now, most of you probably know Sudha Bharadwaj from shouty debates on Republic by anchors like Arnab Goswami. But if you want to know the real Sudha Bharadwaj, then you must watch this. So you're creating trouble right from IIT time.
Well, if this is trouble, I'm a troublemaker. I'm sorry. It seems from the start. I don't know what they thought I was, Poolan Devi or Pragya Thakur or what they thought I was. I have no idea what they thought I was.
Ideology. Now, how would you describe
Well, I would describe myself as a leftist, as a Marxist. I think most people from the trade union background are that.
Do you associate with any of the parties, current political parties?
No, I don't.
Okay. So you're basically from Chhattisgarh. No? One can say you're a Chhattisgarhia.
Yeah. I would call myself a Chhattisgarhia.
Okay.
So I'm literally in exile.
You really miss the state?
Very much.
And this is your daughter?
This is my daughter.
How hard has it been for her?
Oh, it's been very hard for her. All the, awful media stuff and everything. It was a very bad time for her. Or she'd try and meet me in court and they wouldn't even let me hug her, I mean, she had to stand like that.
One question comes to mind, like you had this life where your parents were academics, then you stayed with your mother. A very natural choice would have been to just take academics, be a professor, live in a lovely campus, have a cushy life, teach children things. Why did you choose activism, and after that in Chhattisgarh, which is such a hard life? It's
See, I went to IIT Kanpur, another very elite place, very elite place. So, a team of us went. There was a village just outside outside the IIT campus, and we went there. And we saw that some houses are on one side of the Nala and some houses on the other side of the Nala. So, Sarpanch ji ka to obviously was a very nice house on the proper side of the Nala. So we went there and we said कि हमको जो बच्चे स्कूल नहीं जा रहे हैं, we want to start a school for them. अरे यहीं कीजिए ना, मैं आपको सब सुविधा करा देता हूँ, this, that and the other. And initially one takes all these things as being very nice. And then we saw that children from the other side would not come. Then we would go to their houses and invite them, they would still not come. Then then the whole harsh reality of caste and how
they were Dalit children.
Yes, they were Dalit children, and there was no way the Sarpanch would allow them in his house.
With the rest.
Created such a lot of problem for us. Wrote letters, notices to the IIT management कि कैसे students भेज दिए आपने, बिल्कुल cooperate नहीं करते सरपंच के साथ, this, that. Anyway,
so you're creating trouble right from IIT time.
Well, if this is trouble, I'm a troublemaker. I'm sorry. It seems from the start.
How did your mother take it?
Oh, she was worried. She was worried. She said, "Look, क्या करोगे उधर?" I said, "जो union बोलेगी वो करेंगे." ठीक है. I mean, that's all right. I mean, in theory and all that, but as a woman, you must know. So, and in fact, later on, I started getting annoyed with her and said, if it's only that you want me to stay with you, then you say that. I started accusing her of being selfish and all, which she found hurtful, which was very unfair of me. Actually, she really had genuine concern.
Now you know as a mother that it comes from.
No, but I wouldn't prevent my child going. But in the end, I'm so happy. She died on 8th March 1992. I'm so happy that by the time she went, when my mother went to UK, when I was about 4, and from the age of between 4 and 11, I was in England, in Cambridge.
Okay.
So I have good memories of that. I mean, but by the end of it, the racism had already started. It had begun to become a little ugly. There was a pattern. Some people started ringing up and saying, "Blackie, go home. And why are you here?" And so then she got very.
And then you grew up in JNU. You went to. Blackie grew up on the campus because your mother was teaching there.
Yes. I mean,
in case you guys are wondering why we're not addressing the case directly, it's because one of the bail conditions is that you cannot discuss the case.
Exactly.
So we can't really.
So I will really steer clear from.
Yeah. So we can't get into the details of the case and all that. But would you call yourself a trade unionist first or a lawyer first, or both? A trade unionist.
See, I'll tell you
How
one
were you?
thing, that if I had not become a lawyer, I don't think I would have been very easily accepted as a leader.
Okay.
Becoming a lawyer gave me an additional
Because
advantage.
she knows the system.
Yeah, and
You don't
also
fight
they
with
saw me arguing the cases. The most major case in my life was the ACC case of contract workers. There were 573 contract workers in the ACC company.
ACC.
Cement works, which is now taken over by Adani, mind you.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think we have just about we're going to lose whatever we have gained.
As a lawyer, you're someone who saw how slow it is.
Yeah.
And you saw other people kind of struggle through claims. How has the last few years been for you? Especially, like, was it surreal? Like, shit, I was doing this for other people and I was seeing how people were going through the motions of law. What has your mind space been?
There are two kinds of law actually. There's one kind of law where we ask for our rights, like the labor law, the forest rights law, the environmental law, the women's law, the SC/ST law. वो कभी ठीक से implement नहीं होता. And there's the other, the status quo, the repressive laws, IPC, CRPC, UAPA, TADA, POTA, MPLA,
बहुत efficiency
हाँ,
से
वो
implement
बहुत
होता है.
efficiency से काम करता है, फटाफट, there's no, absolutely. So that problem I was very well aware of. Of course, when they knocked on my door on 28th August 2018, I was not expecting it. And if you're not popular with corporates, then it's difficult to be popular with the government. Of course, the first thing which strikes you when you're arrested and you're taken to the lockup and you're taken to the jail is the sheer indignity of it. Like you're taken there and you, acha, kapde utaro, strip and all that, to बैठो, squat so that we check whether you've hidden something in your inner parts. And I thought, अच्छा ठीक है, comfortable होगा, ट्रैक सूट और ये टी-शर्ट पहन लेंगे, and क्या करना है वहाँ पे, लेडीज जेल तो है. No, these manly clothes are not allowed. सलवार कुर्ता और साड़ी. अच्छा, and the joke was,
So Rhea had visited your...
Yeah. So she took it so sportingly and she was so friendly with people. And you see, the first day everybody will go, Rhea kahan hai? You know how people are. And when she left and everybody came down to wish her goodbye, and then everybody said, Rhea, one dance. So and she actually obliged.
She actually danced for the
So
convicts?
sweet. Yeah. She danced for the convicts.
Wow.
And she said,
But you've also been at the receiving end of media trial, and when you're out and when people get to know Sudha Bharadwaj, do you get any hostility or?
surprisingly not.
If you fight the case like Jagdalpur Legal Aid did and the way you helped the villagers, you are necessarily, now it's painted as that you are
You're
with
pro
the house,
Naxal.
or you are not sympathetic enough to security forces who also suffer huge casualties in these areas.
You right from the beginning. I mean, Jai Prakash Narayan ji ke time se dekhiye. At that time also Naxalite movement was going on when Jai Prakash was there. And in fact, at that time, our Mr. What is his name? Ravi, who is the minister?
Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad.
Ravi Shankar Prasad was in the PUCL. Arun Shourie was in the PUCL. Arun Jaitley was in the PUCL. All of them were in the PUCL because that time you were against Congress, right? Remember? So you were all in the PUCL. And today the PUCL are like for you so terrible and so horrible.
But I'm really amazed at your energy and the fact that you are able to laugh and still so passionately talk about the movement, about the, how you started off and how workers right, which is really amazing. It's a specific sign of a person who can do this after having gone to jail and knowing that you may again be back.
Oh yes.
So what is it? Is it just वो क्या कहते हैं वो अंदर से एक screw आपका
ढीला है.
ढीला तो मैं I won't give that as well, but screw नहीं बोल सकते, but there's a
एक कीड़ा है.
Engineering, अच्छा कीड़ा है.
जिनको ये कीड़ा लग जाता है ना.
अलग है बिल्कुल. ये मतलब do you think sometimes रात को कि dude what am I doing, like maybe I should like
take it easy,
or take it easy, not talk, or the fact that, or when you look back at your life you also think that has it been worth it?
See, for us, for a middle class person, for a professional, we have an individual identity and we have a lot of social capital. You're absolutely right. I mean, of course, now with the stigma, nobody will appoint me anyway. But, otherwise one could have access to so many things but for a worker, the organization is his only identity. His or her only identity.
Where the person is working.
No, the union.
The union.
The union is the only one which raises his voice.
So that gives you a rush, being able to be of help to people.
It not only gives me a rush, I don't know how to live without it. The only thing, like if you're going to say, do you regret anything? I regret that.
You miss Chhattisgarh?
Oh, a lot. A lot.
You hope to go back?
Oh, yes. I hope so. I'm 60 now. I won't be able to do much work, but at least.
But that's home for you.
That's home for me.
That's where you belong.
That's where I belong.
Sudha Bharadwaj is one of India's most well-known trade unionists, activists and lawyers. In fact, she's known as a people's lawyer because she spent more than 3 decades in Chhattisgarh working on people's movements. She first hit headlines on August 28, 2018 when she was charged under UAPA in the Bhima Koregaon case. Since then, she's been in jail for about 3 years and she got bail in 2021. Since the first time that Sudha made headlines and for the 3 years that she'd been in jail, she's had to face a media trial. You've had news anchors call her urban naxal and all sorts of things. You've had a lot of conspiracies being attributed to her and very few people actually know what Sudha is all about, what her work has been all about, what her life is all about. She's represented the most marginal communities in courts. She could have had a very cushy life after an education in IIT Kanpur, but she chose the life of an activist and a trade unionist. We met Sudha at her tiny one-bedroom apartment in Mumbai. Because of her bail conditions, we can't really talk about the case, so we didn't discuss the case. But we really sat down with her and chatted for one whole evening. And we spoke about her life as an activist, as a trade unionist. We asked her why they're so badnaam. We asked her about her ideas of development versus people's right, what she thinks about dogma in the left. And she spoke extensively about her 3 years in jail and had some really fascinating anecdotes and insights to give us on her life in jail and what it taught her. So this was a really long conversation and I really hope you watch it. The full interview has 2 parts. There's part 1 and part 2. Both are behind the paywall. The link to it is in the pinned comment below. So you can check out the pinned comment and go directly to the link of the full part 1 and part 2 interviews. You have to be a subscriber of News Laundry to watch it. So if you're not a subscriber of News Laundry, log on to newslaundry.com. Choose a subscription plan and watch the full interview. We're completely ad-free and remember, we don't take any advertisements at all from governments or corporations. We depend completely on subscription money from viewers like you to do long, in-depth interviews like the one I did with Sudha. So if you like our work, support us, get access to our paywall content. You can watch the full interview with Sudha and you can watch our interviews with many other folks which are behind the paywall. I sincerely hope you invest a little bit of money into this interview, watch it, and you really learn a lot about her life and about a lot of issues that she touches on. It's going to be really worth your time. So subscribe, watch the interview, and as usual, stay mad. That's the only way.